Hello, everyone. Many thanks for this opportunity to share my research with you. Today, I will introduce the Hallyu Track application, demonstrating how a data driven approach can illuminate the often hidden dimensions of cultural influence across the globe. Hallyu, or the Korean Wave, is a very complex, multifaceted transnational phenomenon defined by the global proliferation of the South Korean popular culture that has been strategically mobilized as an instrument of cultural diplomacy and soft power. Since its emergence in 1990s, Hallyu has undergone explosive growth, captivating more than 200 million fans across 119 countries by 2024 and generating billions in cultural exports. The recent success of the Netflix animated feature K-pop Demon Hunters amassed almost 300 million viewers in just 3 months to become the platform's most watched movie ever. And of course, it shows the cultural significance of this phenomenon. Through my research, I demonstrate that the scale, complexity, and state mobilized nature of Hallyu demands a critical, reflexive, data driven framework to understand its nuanced geopolitical significance. In my presentation, I will first introduce the Hallyu tracker, outlining its design and functionality, and then I will move to illustrate how Hallyu tracker can be applied for policy analysis and decision making in international cultural relations by offering some specific examples. So, what is a Hallyu tracker? First of all, it's a digital creative project that emerged from 2024 Korean Foundation funded research initiative mapping the global impacts of Hallyu. The project employed a reflexive digital practice methodology and agile iterative process of knowledge generation through creative practice, theory, and collaborative reflection. It aimed to develop new computational methods to explore Hallyu to address a critical gap in understanding the Korean wave global impact that going actually beyond qualitative analysis. Let me show you a small video demo. The Korean wave, or Hallyu, has taken the world by storm. From K-pop sensations like BTS to captivating K-dramas, Korean culture has captured hearts across the globe. But what drives Hallyu global success? To answer this question, a team of researchers developed the Hallyu Tracker. This innovative machine learning tool uses data to map the reach, appeal, and engagement of the Korean wave around the world. By analyzing more than 300 datasets going back to 1990s, the Hallyu Tracker can identify emerging markets, track fan engagement, and measure the impact of Korean culture on different societies. Curious to explore the global impacts of Hallyu? Dive into the Hallyu Tracker app and embark on a fascinating journey through time and space. The research incorporated the aggregation of three key data types. First, we utilized open data from Korean government sources like COFIS and Statistics Korea, supplemented by repositories like the World Bank. Second, we draw on secondary data from think tanks and research centers, including the Global Economy or Harvard Dataverse. And finally, our research assistants collected data from scratch, tailored to specific research tasks. For example, one researcher explored Chinese social media, aggregating data on anti-Hallyu hashtags, posts, comments, and audiences analytics. So as a result, we compiled over 300 data sets, enabling the creation of more than 250 unique mapping layers. And notably, several of these layers provide a comprehensive historical view with data extending from 1990s until 2023. In the Hallyu Tracker, individual data layers form measurement indices of specific variables. Each index is a normalized value of weighted indicators and is presented on the scale from 0 to 100. Using mean normalization, the platform highlights geolocations on the mapping layers with exceptional performance in specific indicators of their overall index. This design allows for easy comparison and identification of key trends in Hallyu global presence and impact. Hallyu Tracker design centers around three interconnected pillars, or I call them power clusters. So the rich power combines data on local economic context and capacity of Hallyu consumption with actual target experts efforts on the Korean government and industry side. Appeal power explores the factors driving Hallyu's appeal, looking at different sets of cultural values. And finally, engagement power measures their engagement encompassing fan activities, media coverage, and public sentiment, differentiative between positive Hallyu engagement from negative anti-Hallyu sentiments. These clusters are underpinned by three core analytical lenses: reach, understanding local context; appeal, exploring cultural realities; and engagement, measuring what actually happened in the field. Hallyu Tracker's visualization tool includes choropleth and symbol mapping. Choropleth maps display country-level data and use color gradients to represent index scores. And for urban-level data, symbol maps feature 14 key cities using circle size to denote index scores. Hallyu Tracker's interactive timeline allows users to visualize data and layers across a 30-year span from 1990 to 2023, and you can actually move from one point on the timeline to another. Hallyu Tracker facilitates in-depth data comparison across different countries and years for each layer and each data set. It also enables data-driven comparison by benchmarking country-specific variables against regional or global averages. And it helps uncover key trends and outliers in global influence by using these analytic visualization tools. By analyzing different variables, users can spot rising markets, declining regions, or unexpected hotspots. The app also employs artificial intelligence, specifically machine learning, to analyze how different Hallyu factors or countries relate to each other using correlation methods. It also groups similar data points, for example, identifying countries with comparable Hallyu engagement levels using clustering techniques. These tools help spot trends such which variables influence popularity or which regions behave alike through a time period. Finally, Hallyu Tracker enhances data exploration with contextualized stories represented by pins on the map linked to specific geolocations. With this wealth of data visualization on the global map, what questions can Hallyu Tracker help us ask and answer? Who can use the platform and for what particular purposes? So in the next part of my presentation, I will highlight how policymakers can leverage Hallyu Tracker. The use of data in policymaking and diplomacy measurements transform both the decision-making processes as well as communication of policies to the masses. For example, in the past decades, data-driven measurements applied to evaluate soft power of countries gained a significant popularity with many ranking systems produced by national governments and also private actors. And the most powerful among them is, of course, Soft Power Authority Index. Since 2010, it measured soft power for as many as 30 countries on the annual basis and earned a reputation of one of the most widely consulted indices among practitioners worldwide. For many countries, this index was an important indicator of their global performance, and frequently nation-states took their drop-down scores as direct call for improvement. For example, according to a 2017 Soft Power 30 report, South Korea's soft power was ranked 19 out of 30 countries, dropping its scores from the previous years and raising concerns that Korean culture is losing its competitiveness. To tackle this issue, the Korean Culture and Information Service injected nearly 10 million United States dollars from 2018 to 2020 to further promote Korea's brand around the world. However, Grades produced by such global ranking systems are far from neutral. Kelly's book Scorecard Diplomacy stresses that scorecard dashboards reduce a complex reality to a preferred interpretation, labeling countries' images and shaping their perceptions. Whereas monitoring and grading systems are powerful means of the scorecard diplomacy, as they publicly expose countries' failures and put international actors in the competition for better scores. Furthermore, many soft power dashboards present soft power as a uniform force, neglecting its varied impacts across diverse social, economic, political, and cultural contexts. For example, ranking the United States highest in soft power implies equal appeal in Russia, Brazil, the UK, France, and Vietnam, a claim that is really hard to prove. Understanding this power is not as a constanta, but as an important variable that dynamically changes its value on the global map, the Hallyu tracker shifts away the attention from a high competition in soft power performance to exposing and exploring one's own weaknesses in different geolocations. This approach stresses that there is no one winner or loser of the soft power, but rather there are multiple complex factors that shape soft power resources and outcomes depending on specific local challenges and opportunities. For example, Hallyu Tracker correlates multiple layers of local information with actual engagement results. The rich power cluster situates the country population within the economic and social demographic. The appeal power clusters allows to explore each country cultural context by mapping potential appeal of Hallyu based on cultural or transnational proximities. And finally, the engagement power cluster includes local engagement index that assesses the country geopolitical context on the multilateral and bilateral levels through specific ties with South Korea. By combining these layers, Hallyu Tracker moves beyond broad generalizations, revealing how specific local conditions shape Hallyu reception and impact. So let's explore some specific examples. One of the fascinating questions to explore is what are the secrets behind the Korean wave's universal appeal, reaching across social, economic, most importantly, cultural geographies, captivating people from diverse religious beliefs, linguistic backgrounds, historical contexts, and cultural settings? These questions have long been the subject of academic debates, exploring various factors behind the global appeal of Hallyu. Numerous scholars have explored the factors contributing to Hallyu global appeal, often drawing upon theories emphasizing cultural similarities. One prominent concept is cultural affinity, suggesting audiences connect with Korean culture due to pre-existing links rooted in shared history, language, or philosophical traditions like Confucianism. Another key concept is cultural proximity, highlighting the perceived closeness between cultures often measured through shared values and norms. Beyond cultural similarities, numerous academics explain Hallyu's appeal through the lens of universal human values and global shared experiences. Transnational proximity theory emphasizes shared experiences and common issues that transcend borders, suggesting Hallyu resonates by addressing universal themes and identity belonging. Finally, the concept of human universals, fundamental behaviors and norms common to all cultures around the world, suggests Hallyu taps into deep human values, making it universally appealing. Hallyu's global appeal is also explained through theories emphasizing cultural fusion and cross-cultural influences. For example, cultural hybridity theory highlights how Hallyu blends Korean elements with global trends, creating new hybrid forms. It recognizes that Hallyu isn't purely Korean product, but a result of cultural exchanges. Globalization, as a combination of globalization and localization, explains how Hallyu adapts to specific markets as a product. Korean entertainment strategically tailors content and marketing to resonate with diverse audiences. That makes this product appealing to different people in different countries. Understanding these theoretical foundations, on the Hallyu tracker, the power of appeal is mapped across three dedicated layers: universal appeal, national appeal, and target appeal. National appeal corresponds to the cultural proximity theory and measures a country's exposure to cultural culture and its alignment with Korean social norms. Universal appeal takes inspiration in transnational proximity theories and demonstrates country global integration based on their diversity, digital engagement in different social media platforms, and inclusion into international discourses and norms. In target appeal, clusters draws on cultural fusion theories and evaluates Korean industry and government promotional efforts, including localization efforts and cultural exchanges facilitated by the state. For example, national appeal power measures the country population exposure to Korean culture and realities in combination with its proximity to Korean social norms and cultural values. Interestingly, France and Vietnam, despite vastly different contexts, geographical but also cultural, score similarly on this index. Vietnam's geographic proximity grants greater cultural exposure, exemplified by high student and tourist number. However, France scores higher on the Hofstadter cultural proximity scale, indicating stronger value alignment with Korea, particularly in power distance, individualism, and uncertainty avoidance. While a direct causal link between France's high appeal score and Hallyu consumption is difficult to establish, France is actually one of the top Hallyu consumers outside Asia. And this suggests that cultural proximity, while not sole driver, plays a significant role in the Hallyu global success. Engagement power clusters measures digital and physical consumption and circulation patterns, including positive and negative sentiments. It examines positive engagement via such variables like digital fandom, media resonance, and global trends. Google Trends. These metrics reveal where Hallyu products and services are trending, not just where direct purchases occur. They indicate social media visibility, popularity, presence in global info flows, and search frequencies related to Hallyu interests. For example, Mexico, with 76 Hallyu clubs around the country and more than 27 million fans, shines bright on the Hallyu engagement layer. However, its high engagement is also attributed to its strong media resonance, digital fandom, and Google Trends searches, all scoring above 90. Furthermore, cluster analysis among countries could reveal interesting engagement patterns. The synchronized rise and fall of Hallyu engagement between Indonesia, Russia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates paints a compelling narrative of a modern, digitally connected audience. This correlation suggests a shared rhythm of consumption that transcends traditional geographic and cultural boundaries. The story these timelines tell is not one of regional influence. This invites really interesting critical questions. For example, why do these geographically dispersed countries exhibit synchronized peaks and drops in Hallyu consumption? Does this indicate a shared platform-driven fandom, where global algorithm or sites like YouTube create synchronized consumption patterns? Could these peaks be triggered by specific universal appeal content that resonates with global rather than regional or youth demographics? Or does this correlation reveal an underlying similarity in media infrastructure or internet freedom that enables simultaneous access to Hallyu content despite political and cultural differences? Hallyu Tracker goes beyond measuring positive engagement and also quantify anti-Korean sentiment. The dedicated anti-Hallyu layer analyzes a country's negative attitudes towards Hallyu. It examines media coverage of anti-Korean viewpoints, the social media reach of anti-Hallyu groups, and public interest in related topics. By tracking these indicators, Hallyu Tracker provides a comprehensive view of public sentiment, revealing both positive and negative dimensions of Hallyu global consumption. The artificial intelligence ability to cluster countries is vital for monitoring global risks, such as the anti-Hallyu movement. Here, our analysis reveals a distinct cluster of countries, including Malaysia, Vietnam, and Indonesia, united by a correlated negative sentiment. The strong correlation between Indonesia and Malaysia suggests that opposition narratives may resonate and spread across these borders. Identifying this cluster allows for proactive regional strategies for communication and policy, as well as begs some important questions. For example, what specific cultural, religious, or political narratives are driving this shared negative sentiment across Malaysia, Vietnam, and Indonesia? Does the strong Indonesia-Malaysia correlation indicate a contagion effect, where anti-Hallyu narrative developed in one nation easily spill over into another? Or are there key influencers or media outlets that act as bridges, amplifying these oppositional narratives across these specific regional clusters? Thank you so much for joining this exploration of the Hallyu tracker with me today. A tool that bridges data, culture, and strategy. And I invite you all to explore the application yourself at the time of your convenience and make your own discoveries of the Hallyu spread and reach around the world. So let's stay connected, and please feel free to get in touch to continue the conversation beyond this conference.